Hello, friends. Today, I want to share a message from one of the most comforting and powerful verses in the Bible, Psalm 23:4. It says, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me." Isn't that amazing? This verse has given hope and strength to millions of people over the centuries. Today, we'll dive deep into its meaning, explore how it applies to our lives, and find inspiration to trust God even in our darkest moments. Understanding the valley of the shadow of death. Let's first talk about the valley of the shadow of death. What does that mean? The valley represents the darkest and scariest moments in our lives, times when we feel hopeless, afraid, or overwhelmed. It could be a time of loss, illness, failure, or uncertainty. Think of Job in the Bible. He walked through one of the deepest valleys anyone could imagine. He lost his family, his health, and his possessions. Yet, in Job 13:15, he said, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust him." Job's faith in God was unshaken because he knew God was with him in his suffering. Now, let's focus on the promise in Psalm 23:4. The verse doesn't say if we walk through the valley but even though, which means valleys are a part of life. But here's the good news, we don't walk through them alone. God promises to be with us every step of the way. I will fear no evil, trusting God's presence. David, the author of this psalm, had many reasons to fear. He faced wild animals as a shepherd, ran from King Saul, and fought battles. But David learned an important truth: God's presence drives out fear. In Isaiah 41:10, God says, "Fear not, for I am with you, be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." When you know God is with you, fear loses its grip. Let me ask you, what are you afraid of today? Is it the future? Your health? Your family? Remember, the same God who protected David is with you too. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Let's talk about the rod and staff. In David's time, shepherds used a rod to protect their sheep from danger, like wild animals. The staff, on the other hand, was used to guide the sheep, gently pulling them back when they wandered off. This shows us two things about God: He protects us, and He guides us. When the Israelites faced the Red Sea with Pharaoh's army chasing them, they were in a terrifying valley. But God used Moses' staff to part the sea, creating a path to safety, Exodus 14:21-22. Just like that, God can make a way for you where there seems to be no way. Sometimes, we may not understand God's guidance, but His staff always leads us to what's best. Proverbs 3:5-6 reminds us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make straight your paths." From the valley to victory. Did you notice something in Psalm 23:4? It says, "I walk through the valley." You're not meant to stay in the valley forever. God leads you through it. The valley is a season, not a destination. Think about Joseph. He was thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, and wrongly imprisoned. But God brought him out of that valley and made him a ruler in Egypt. Joseph later told his brothers, "You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good," Genesis 50:20. Whatever valley you're in today, trust that God has a purpose. Has working all things together for your good, Romans 8:28. How to hold on to God in the valley. You might be wondering, how can I stay strong in my valley? Let me share 3 practical steps. 1. Pray without ceasing. Pour out your heart to God, just like David did in the Psalms. God hears you and cares for you, 1 Peter 5:7. 2. Meditate on His Word. Fill your mind with God's promises. Psalm 119:105 says, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path." Let His Word guide you through the darkness. 3. Surround yourself with believers. Share your struggles with trusted Christian friends or family. Galatians 6:2 tells us to bear one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. Friends, Psalm 23:4 reminds us that we don't have to fear the valleys in life because God is with us. His protection and guidance bring us comfort, even in the darkest moments. As I close, let me leave you with this verse from Deuteronomy 31:8. The Lord Himself goes before you and will be with you, He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. If this message has touched your heart, I encourage you to trust God with whatever valley you're walking through. And if you know someone who needs this encouragement, please share this video with